Welcome to cit178 Relational Databases. I am your instructor, Lisa Ballback, and I'm going to give you a brief overview of the course. Over on the left, you should see a sidebar, and it has my LinkedIn profile, which if you have a LinkedIn account, it should tell you kind of what my background is. Okay, so you can kind of read through my about information. You can, if you want, read through my work history. Not very exciting, but you can also take a look at all of my licenses and certifications. Okay, if you have any questions about any of that, feel free to ask. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. Also, my office number and more importantly, my office hours are listed. If you need advising, and it's during an advising period, you can schedule an appointment by clicking on that link. And then below that, we have a student spotlight. So one of the first exercises you're going to do in the orientation is going to be to create an entry for the student spotlight. And so every time you come in, you will see a different student in the class. So it's just a nice way of getting to know each other. Okay, and then you may see other things over in the sidebar. Normally, I hide this. Okay, and then I do not have all of the weeks open. In fact, I'm going to hide these so you guys don't see them because that's kind of irritating. What I typically do is I have a couple weeks open to begin with, and then as the semester progresses, I will open more weeks. That way it's not overwhelming. And so we are down here in the first week, and we are kind of going through how the course is set up. You'll notice that I do have everything in blocks. And if you expand the block, everything that you need to do is listed right at the top. And you'll notice that the order that you see here matches the order of the items that you see that you need to complete. And so first thing is the welcome message. Just kind of gives you an overview of what my expectations are when we typically have assignments due, that kind of thing. Then we have the course syllabus. Probably the most important thing in the syllabus is the grading. It's got, my office hours, the same hours that you saw in the sidebar at the top of the class. Description of the course, the textbook needed, the software needed, what our learning outcomes are. So by the end of the semester, this is all of the general topics that you will know. And then we get into grading. So I grade based on percentage, which means that if you fall between 950 and 1,000 points, you will get a 4.0, which is an A. If you fall between 900 and 949, you get a 3.5, which is an A minus. So you can kind of look through here. I don't grade on a curve. I grade based on points because that way, if you all do well, you can all get an A. And there's plenty of ways for you to accumulate points in this course. We have several different graded activities. We have textbook assignments, which are more directive. I actually have videos that kind of walk you through those. Then for you to practice what you learn, we have lab assignments. Those are not as directive, but between the chapter key points, the textbook, and the textbook assignment, you should be able to complete those lab assignments. And if you run into any problems or have questions, feel free to pop into my live stream office hours, or if those office hours don't work, just set up a meeting with me outside of office hours because I'm happy to help you. We do have a final project in here and a final project showcase. The final project you will actually start working on in the 4th and 5th week of this class. Quite a few of our assignments incorporate working on that final project. So by the end of the semester, it will be done. Along the way, you will be sharing your project with your classmates, so they'll be able to see it progress. And that's kind of fun because that way you guys can learn from each other. We do have unit tests in here. They are set up very similar to the IT specialist exam, which is your final exam. It is a professional certification. The questions are not your typical true, false, multiple choice. So the unit tests will help prepare you for that certification exam. In addition, we have discussion forums, and I tend not to do the research papers. What I tend to do is turn them into discussion forums because I have found that students enjoy the forums more than writing papers. We also have a e-portfolio, which involves setting up a LinkedIn profile. So that's pretty much what all of your graded activities are. And this section covers what I just talked about. And I think this is pretty self-explanatory. If you do email me for help and you don't hear back within 24 hours, that usually means that I did not receive your email. So please email me again because I do respond to students right away. If I can't look at the problem, I will email you back and let you know when I will have time to look at it. And I think you guys can pretty much read through the rest of this on your own. We do have a college syllabus. It is the same for every single class. So I will let you read through that on your own. And then we get to the course assignment schedule. This is something that you definitely should print. What you see listed here for activities matches what you see at the top of each block. And it's a good idea to print this out. And then as you complete things, you can cross them off. That will help keep you on track. You will notice that the due date is always at the top of the block. Okay, so assignments usually are due, a week after we work on them. So we work on them and they're due at the beginning of the next week. If you're going to be working on campus, you should watch the campus safety video. And that brings me to the student profile. This is your first assignment. And once you complete it, that spotlight section is where it will display. So if we come through here, this is actually pretty easy to complete. If you're confused about the instructions, I did do a video that you can watch. But basically you just add a new entry. You put your name in here. And then you're going to add a graphic, a picture of yourself. And you're probably going to have to upload the file. This is me and my granddaughter. And it always comes in way too big. So make sure that the width, you change this to like 150 or 200. Keep auto size on, and then the height will be in proportion. And then you'll have to put some text in here, some alt text. and hit save, and it'll pull it into the glossary. Below that, I either want a quote that you like that represents you or hashtags that represent you, whatever you are comfortable sharing. And then once you're done, you can save it, and that exercise is complete. And you do get points for doing this. Okay, all of these exercises that are required are worth points. So I did the example for you. I did a quote, and I also did some hashtags. The other assignment the first week is the discussion forum. This is where you're going to provide a little bit more information to your classmates. So if you have a nickname you prefer, you can include that. If you're studying a particular major, you can share that. Any hobbies that you enjoy, share that as well. I actually did an example here for you with some of my background. So this is kind of how I got into teaching and what my background is and what my hobbies are. I tend to overshare, so you guys certainly do not have to write that much. Just share what you are comfortable with. That is also a graded activity, so make sure you complete that. Then the first chapter in the book, you are going to want to read through, and I just summarized the key points of that chapter, and this is super short. So kind of take a look through here. It's mainly terminology that it discusses. And then finally, you're going to need to install the software so you can do the assignments. There is a video that you can watch that will show you how to download and install SQL Server 2019 Developer Edition. That is the software. And then the interface that we use to access that software is called SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio. Those two things need to be installed. Once you have that installed and you can access it, then you're going to install the database files that we're going to be using. Okay, and there's a separate video that shows you how to install those. Installing can be a little tricky, so if you run into problems, let me know. I'm happy to help. Quite often, students will pop into my office hours, share their screen, and we can take care of any problems that you encounter installing. Under the course resources, at the end of the chapter, there are some terms. And so to help you out, I actually went through and defined those terms for you. So there's a Word version and a PDF version. And for those of you who like slideshows, the first chapter is also available in slides. So that is kind of the overview of the course and our first week. If you guys have any questions, let me know. And I hope you all have a great first week of school. I look forward to working with all of you.